Hey everyone, welcome back to One Nation Presents. This episode is going to be You Can Quote Me on That. What I believe is going to be a weekly thing, if not fairly frequent. We won't call it weekly. And today we're going to focus on some things that are probably on your mind with COVID going on and being kept up in the house and things of that nature. We're going to talk a little bit about things that maybe need to plant in your mind about getting some action on some things you need to do. I know it's something I've been struggling with. Obviously, the show production slowed down, and so I had to remind myself sometimes. And the idea on this show, if this is the first time you've seen it, we did it one time before, was nothing really deep or scholarly. We just kind of take a couple of quotes and we kind of kick them around a little, and we see where things go. Hopefully, it speaks to you in some way, shape, or fashion. It may not, and that's okay too. But if you know of somebody that may be struggling and they could hear the message, I'd be appreciative if you would share that with them, either on the podcast or the YouTube. And this actually is the first episode being put out on YouTube as well. So that's super exciting. We're still going to stay on the podcast platform. So if you're listening and that's where you're going to stay, please, thank you. We love that. Share, subscribe, like, all the above. If this is something you feel like maybe you could add some extra value by commenting on any of those platforms, that'd be great too. We'd love to have more engagement in that respect. But as I jump into this today, I really think about some of the quotes on just in general, as I let off at the top, about just needing to get started. A lot of times we are just bogging down now because the world has changed so much, and we forget that we're easily distracted because maybe we're putting our face in that social media device a little more, our phone, things of that nature. And it's really funny when you start to pick through quotes. I don't really care necessarily about the source, but in sometimes you just look at something and go, wow, that was really profound out of that person who you know to be a very smart person and a very intellectual person, but you just never realized it would have come out of them per se. And this one kind of caught me a little off guard as well. So it's action is the antidote to despair. So it's Joan Baez. So musician, actress, activist. We know her from any number of those things, whether you agree with her or not on some of her things. Let's not go there. That's not the point of this. But action is the antidote to despair. And literally do something, you feel better in general. Whether you were in despair or not, this could be debatable. But certainly if you were, just the act of getting up off the couch feels better. It feels like you're actually doing something and moving towards something. Could just be the laundry if you're having that bad of a day or a bad of a stretch. It could be something more monumental than that. Who knows? I don't know what your mountain is at this moment. But certainly it's the first one that kind of jumped out at me because I think just speaking to starting in general and getting moving is really where this all starts. So I also then run across my thought process, which I found myself doing with the podcast and some of the things about getting set up on YouTube is, but I don't have this or I don't have that, so I can't start yet. No. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. That's the late, great Arthur Ashe, tennis professional. So let me say that one more time, just so that really resonates. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Start where you are. There's no reason for you to have to go and do anything more than your domain. That's you. You're natural in that domain, whether that's your home or whether that's your office, if you're going into the office, or in your car, if that's where you're most comfortable. Use what you have. We almost all have, oh my gosh, I don't have mine with me. We almost all have a cell phone. So if that's the tool that you can use that. Now, again, you can get sucked in very easily for other things, but use what you have. You don't have to go out and like in my case, I didn't have to go out and buy a $30,000 piece of camera. I bought a relatively cheap Canon mirrorless camera and got started on this. Do what you can. I'm not perfect at this. When I go to do the post editing on this, I'm not great at that yet. I'll get there if I want to, but I'm doing what I can. I'm putting out that product that I'm proud of right now. And maybe I look back in 5 years and I say, wow, that was not the greatest thing because I know so much more now. But the point is, I took that first step. I'm doing what I can with what I have and where I'm at. So I just encourage you, think about that. You don't have to have the prettiest things, the shiniest things, the biggest things, the best things. They just have to be tools that you use. You know, the last thing is I kind of really sit here and think about what is it that keeps us from our motivation from allowing us to move forward on something is, well, there's just big, and I said the word mountain earlier. It's kind of funny, actually. There's this big list of things to do, or this thing I need to do is so huge. So I step back to an old Chinese proverb that I updated to make it gender non-specific. And the person who removes a mountain begins by carrying away a small stone. You can't move the mountain by yourself. You can't boil the ocean. Whatever you really want to plug in here, you have to start with one thing. And so whatever that one thing is, we could probably do a whole different talk on that about how do you decide what that one thing is. But certainly at least doing one thing and moving the first stone means that you've started to move that mountain, whatever that mountain is. If that mountain's one big thing or 50 small things piled up, you've at least started to move it and the mountain's coming down. And that's really just something that really struck a chord with me. I'm sitting here thinking, wow, I have so many things I need to do. But the most important thing for me to do right now is to be turning on this camera and practicing my craft and getting out there. And no matter how good, how bad, how great, how terrible this turns out, doing it and doing it repeatedly and moving that stone every time I do it and learning something new every time I move that stone is what's important. And again, that's just resonates with me. I don't know. I hope it resonates with you as well. You can do so much just by moving that first stone, and then I'll encourage you to move that second stone. And the next thing you know, you'll look behind you and more than half the mountain's built behind you, and there's less than half the mountain in front of you. And it'll be pretty amazing. And I think it'll just be a journey, but it'll be one that you'll be so glad you took on. So with that, I'm not going to go on forever today. I just wanted to jump on and hopefully leave some thoughts in your heads that will help you get motivated if you're finding it hard to be motivated right now during this time for any reason, not just because of COVID. Could be anything. We all get into funks and ruts. But just step back and think about those 3 quotes. They'll be out on the Insta. I'll embed them in this video after I'm done, so you'll see them. And also be on, we opened the Facebook page back up and got that running, so you'll see all of that. You'll be able to go to those quotes. And I really look forward to bringing you guys more content in the future. So please let me know what you'd like to see. Like, subscribe, do all of the above. I really appreciate all of you. Take care.